Oh, that's big time. I know Kenny, probably Jane.
And where's this project? What are you talking about? Because you brought that up.
So he's no.
Okay.
Then he's a, oh, he always was a no. He's a yes.
Right. We can.
Oh, sure.
Oh, you got a call. You got a call.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, man. Are you going to stagger like she did? Are you going to start?
Yeah.
What do you mean stagger? I don't know what that means.
Just start with one language.
I'm just going to do it
Me
from the
too.
top.
Hey, Mary.
Like to call the meeting to order. Roll call of aldermen.
Kinsella. Here. Hazel.
Here.
Pusa.
Here.
Duco. Here. Randall.
Here.
Ferguson. Here. Anthony. Here. Ovian. Here. Dintelman. Here. Schaefer.
Here.
Steele.
Here.
Rothweiler. Here. Elmore.
Here.
Wygant. Here. Wigington. Here. Barfield.
Here.
All 16 are present. Roll call of department heads.
City Treasurer Hart. Here. City Attorney Horner. Police Chief Bill Clay. Chief Tom Poore. Jamie Matrit. Tim Gregowitz. Ken Vaughn. Jason Poole. Royce Carlisle. Anissa McCaskill. Leander Spearman. Scott Markovich.
Pretty close. Markovich, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Chief Poore will be here in a little bit. He was on some training or something, I believe. Right now, he was checking on. And Garrett Harner is excused, and that's why we see Brian Flynn here. Ladies and gentlemen, as always we do, but because tonight the weather has been a little bit iffy out there, if we had to leave the room because the police department or fire chief would come in and say they got a severe weather nearby, we would follow the policeman across the lobby. From right across from the city clerk's office, there's a doorway that steps lead downstairs. So they will give us guidance if we unfortunately had to do that. If we ever had a fire, we'd ask you to go out either the front or back door and carefully cross the street and meet us in front of the sign for the county courthouse so we can kind of check on who you're with and make sure everybody's here. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're able, would you please stand and join with me the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, we have no public hearing this evening, and I would now get ready to open public participation. If you would like to speak this evening, please raise your hand, and when I call on you, step up to the microphone. Please give your name. Keep your comments to about 2 to 3 minutes, preferably on a subject that's on the agenda, or at least something that deals with Belleville. So is there anybody tonight that would like to speak at public participation? It's now open. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Linda Hobbs. I'm the principal at Notre Dame Academy, and I am speaking about the repaving of the parking lot of Notre Dame Academy. Thank you again for the opportunity. At the Academy and at the Cathedral, we have always been good citizens, welcoming Belleville citizens and guests to our cities, to our cathedral, to our facility, and to the large parking lot for non-religious events. We are happy for this cooperation, and it is being put in the form of a legal agreement. If the city can help us in welcoming our own citizens, welcoming visitors from near and far, welcoming and feeding the poor, the homeless, and those in need, and welcoming civic events like our Art on the Square, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else would like to speak this evening? Here, yes, sir.
Barry Gregory with St. Clair County Licensed Beverage Association. It's been brought to our attention through the Finance Committee meeting about the Notre Dame, which we just heard from. Nobody disagrees with them being great citizens or something, but it brings a little concern after having our fees raised the last 2 years to our membership of the shortfall in the budget that was allegedly happened the last 2 years, and now that there's a expenditure out of general funds for a private entity, we're a little concerned about. So we just wanted to voice our concern at this time.
You're certainly welcome for your comment.
Thank you.
I will correct one of those comments after a while, but is there any other anyone else who would like to speak this evening? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close public participation, and we're going to move on to the regular portion of tonight's meeting. First of all, I would like to, we have no presentations, recognitions, or appointments tonight. Approval of the minutes, I'd ask for a motion to approve the city council meeting minutes and executive session minutes of August 5th. Motion by Alderman Wiggington, second by Alderman Schaefer. Any discussions or changes on the minutes? All in favor of receiving and filing the minutes signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Claims, payroll, and disbursements. I'd ask for a motion to approve the claims and disbursements in the amount of $1,947,737.83. That's the payroll. I'm sorry, that was disbursements. And the payroll in the amount of $863,819.97. Motion by Alderman Diddleman, second by Alderman Kinsella. Any additions or corrections on those two items? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Here.
Duco. Randall.
Aye.
Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian. Dillman. Schaefer.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Wygant. Wiggington. Barfield.
Aye.
Motion carries. We now move to the back page of that first one to ask for a motion to approve the city attorney report dated August 15th, 2019. What's your pleasure? Motion to receive and file by Alderman Schaefer. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Pusa. Do I hear discussion on the attorney's report? All in favor of receiving the attorney's report signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We go to oral reports, Master Sewer Committee, Alderman Diddleman.
On behalf of the Master Sewer Committee, I'd like to make a motion to approve the change order number 4, City of Belleville LTCP, Phase 4, its 23rd Street CSO Lift Station Project in the amount of $68,172.41.
Motion by Alderman Diddleman, second by Alderman Steele. Do I hear discussion on this item coming from Master Sewer? If there's no questions, roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Duco. Randall.
Aye.
Ferguson. Anthony.
Aye.
Ovian. Dillman.
Aye.
Schaefer.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Wygant. Wiggington. Barfield.
Aye.
Motion carries. At this time, I'd ask Traffic Committee, Alderman Ovian.
Thank you, Your Honor. On behalf of the Traffic Committee, motion, 11B1, motion to make a two-way stop on Oxford Road, north and south of Sleeter and Germain Road. So moved.
Motion by Alderman Ovian. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Elmore. Do I hear discussion on this motion coming from Traffic? All in favor of approving this motion and have the proper ordinance drawn signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Finance Committee, Alderman Kinsella.
On behalf of the Finance Committee, I make a motion to approve the purchase of new HVAC system for the Labor Museum from Bello for $7,469.
Motion and second by Pusa. Any discussion on this item? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Duco. Randall. Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian. Dillman. Schaefer.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Wygant. Wiggington. Barfield.
Aye.
Motion carries. I just want you to know, I didn't ask him to follow the Jenny's procedure of staggering because I didn't want to confuse him since he's pitch hitting. So everybody understand that, okay? I was being nice to him. I just didn't want to put you through that. I didn't even present that to you. But a couple of you have looked at me and I'm just saying, that was my call. He didn't have to do that.
I'm just reading it in order.
That's right. You're doing fine. You're doing a really good job. There was times years ago your father did this. Okay, we get to 11C2, Finance, Ken?
Again, on behalf of the Finance Committee, I make a motion to approve paying $14,234.26 to Honeywell for one-half cost of new controller system for library air conditioners from TIP funds. The other half will be paid from library reserves.
Motion by Alderman Kinsella. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Rothweiler. Do I hear discussion? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Duco. Randall.
Aye.
Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian.
Aye.
Dillman.
Aye.
Schaefer.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Wygant. Wiggington. Barfield.
Motion carries. Go to number 11C3.
Again, on behalf of the Finance Committee, I make a motion to approve waiving bid procedures and purchasing 2 dump trucks, snow and ice units from Lou Fuse, Missouri State bid vendor, for $158,124.
Motion by Alderman Kinsella, second by Alderman Ferguson. Any discussion on this motion coming from Streets and Grades? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Duco. Randall. Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian.
Aye.
Dillman.
Aye.
Schaefer.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore.
Aye.
Wygant. Wiggington. Barfield.
Motion carries. Next.
On behalf of the Finance Committee, I make a motion to approve the purchase of fuel system hardware and software from Pemco Service Company Incorporated for $33,726.83.
We have motion by Alderman Kinsella. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Steele. Do I hear discussion? This is what equipment we need that needs upgrading at, I guess, is it Scott? I know Jason's not here, but I'm sorry, Jason is here. I forgot, you were gone so long last week. This is for, will this software service both locations or pumps? Yes. Okay, and what we have is pretty old, and this is gonna really help us. Okay.
And as well, we're going to eliminate the underground storage tanks, and this will be above ground storage tanks. This is just the hardware, software system.
Right, and we're doing that, that's another thing coming to you in the near future, because, right, with the underground, with the tanks because EPA has been on us about the tanks that are buried. They're into their last year, correct?
Yeah.
So somebody asked me today about this, and I'm just trying to make sure they had the explanations. We have a motion and we have a second on 11C4. Is there any further questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Duco. Randall.
Aye.
Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian.
Aye.
Dillman.
Aye.
Schaefer.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler.
Aye.
Elmore.
Aye.
Wygant.
Aye.
Wiggington. Barfield.
Motion carries. Alderman Kinsella.
Item 11C5 is a consideration of a development agreement with Notre Dame Academy. This comes forward from the Finance Committee with no recommendation, so I'm not doing it on their behalf, but on my own behalf, I'm going to make that motion.
We have a motion to approve the development agreement. Do I hear a second? Second by Mary Steele, Alderman Steele. So everybody has the development agreement though, right? I just want to make sure I'm not talking, or that we're not referring to something and somebody says they didn't get it. Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. I open up for discussion. Are you ready to vote? Nobody wants to discuss? Okay, Alderman Kinsella, I'm going to ask you to take the chair because I have a comment, a little history I want to read. Instead of me just narrating from my seat here, I'm going to go to the microphone out front. Only done this twice in all my years. Do I need to give my name?
I think we know who you are, Mayor.
Okay. I'm just taking a moment because I don't want to give a lengthy dissertation, or no, it's not going to be a dissertation, but I don't want to give lengthy remarks from the chair. The only time I've ever done this is when there was a night here many years ago over a debate about the Chris Kindle market. So I chose to come out here and stand here as a concerned member of this body of government. I just want to set a couple things straight. In the last few days, and I know there's a lot of emotion with this vote. I understand it. But I want to give some of you who weren't on this council when we have had some history of how this has gone in years past. Now that doesn't make it all right, but I want you to know how we have, looked at things in years past. First of all, I got a couple calls that there was a call running around that we were taking money that could have been used in the West End for this project downtown. This project will be funded by TIF 8 if it was to so be passed. the $8,891, I think was the price. And it's not a resurfacing, it's resealing. It's a sealant. It is true, and I made the statement, and I think it was finance. The city has used the schoolyard for probably, I said over 50 years. Bill Thurston corrected me when I went out of here at finance and said it was probably more like 60-plus years we started the Labor Day parade on that lot. We've done the Memorial Parade at least 50 years there. And for the last 18 years, I can tell you, as I drive around checking the area, Art on the Square patrons have parked there. Oktoberfest, chili cook-off, years ago the Deutschfest, the 175th and the 200th anniversary, they opened up their lot for parking on all those facilities. Now, people have said to me, a couple calls I received have said, well, we're open up, Pandora's box was the word. And, well, you can always, nothing is as black and white in government as people want to think it is. There's a lot of gray. But I want to just tell you this. In the past, since I've been on this body, either as an alderman or as mayor, we have helped Southwest Illinois Healthcare Ventures when we tore down some crappy properties in Ward 4 down, that's Memorial Hospital, on Memorial Drive. Johnny would remember that. We helped Governor French Academy twice. Once was in 2001 when they were going to move to O'Fallon. We helped them with some TIF money to stay in Belleville. They're a private school, but we didn't want to see that void downtown. We helped them again in 2006 because they had a sales contract to Oliver C. Joseph to buy the building where Joseph was in, and if that wouldn't have happened, Joseph was not going to be able to move out to the 15 because they already had a promise from Detroit to give them a substantial higher amount of money to go out to O'Fallon, and we would have lost that whole deal. We voted that it was in the best interest of the city to give that money to Governor French so they could close the deal with Joseph and we could get that car dealership built on 15. And they were the first of the two. Now, then we had Rusty Wagner to follow. We helped St. Paul's Home in 2013 when they came to me, a number of them from the board of directors, and we're going to move possibly, some board members wanted to look at moving, and that neighborhood, as you know, is challenged. The old brewery neighborhood over there has got a lot of issues. They own the property, but they were going to build that new $29 million facility someplace, and they looked at some property out near Shiloh and Frank Scott Parkway. I told them that I thought we could help them. I took it to the committees. We passed, if you remember, and some of you probably voted for it, $250,000 of TIF money to help them towards the demolition. And we also, a couple of things we agreed to do, which we're just finishing now, is some of the street improvements, but they knew that had to wait until the sewer improvements were done over there in the past several years. We helped Lindenwood University, and everybody knows that story. And I don't know what we might be what might be knocking at our door so we can fill that in the future. I'm happy to say we're getting some nibbles, but we'll see where that goes. St. Mary's, the parking lot where good old Chuck Inn, and I continue to get by a few people still chewed out because I tore down Chuck Inn. But anyway, Chuck Inn and the Carner building were tore down, and we worked out a deal with St. Mary's when we got that 17th Street through to Belleville Crossing to give them use of that parking lot that we own on the corner, and we fixed up some of their lot in exchange for the right-of-way and the construction easements that they granted us, and that was worked out in a development agreement at that time. Don't forget Mount Hope Cemetery in the West End. When I got several calls that we were taking money from West Belleville, I said, wait a minute. I don't regret, but I got chewed up down one side and the other in one election because I would dare agree with supporting cutting the grass in Mount Hope. But folks, as we've talked, if we didn't take care of Mount Hope, a private cemetery that started out being an old evangelical and reformed cemetery out of East St. Louis with the church many years ago, if we didn't do it, the West End could be blighted. And we saw how it started out. We have, and I'm not proud of it, and it's a fact, and I am still going back to the state again today, as I have several times in the past, and asked for some help. But we're spending $100,000 a year in West Belleville to keep that cemetery from being blighted and keeping it cut. That's just a fact, and that's been for 10 years now, so do the math. And lastly, somebody asked me, this one's not going to be found in the record book, but I can tell you what I know about it, because at the time I think it happened, I was president of Belleville Main Street. When Mark Kern was mayor, we had a facade improvement program that was run through Belleville Main Street. The money came out of TIF, I'm sure it did, but there was a facade improvement grant that was given to Union Methodist Church for some work they did after they had the fire and after they resituated some stuff in the front, some landscaping, et cetera. We gave a facade improvement grant. I couldn't find any record of it today. I know it existed, but the money was at that time. I changed that after I became mayor to where all facade improvements grants must come through committee and must be approved. That's just the way we did it. I sent all of you the city attorney's opinion. This is not against the Constitution. This is not the church. I know you can technically say, well, it's St. Peter's Cathedral. But we have been provided a service for all these years by Cathedral School, and this is what they've asked the first time ever, if we can help them with sealing that lot. So it's a personal decision for all of you. I know it's a tough one. I had a couple of you call me and I said, hey, nobody ever said there were going to be no tough decisions. I will tell you this as I did in committee. If it would come to an 8-8 tie, I will vote to break the tie. I believe that as a good partner and friend, nothing to do with the church, as a good partner and friend, I believe we owe this to be done, and I think we don't want to see weeds growing through the cracks downtown in our business district anyway. So I just wanted to give you some history, and I didn't want to sit up there in that chair and act like I'm preaching to you. I'd rather preach from here. So if there's any questions of me, I'll be glad to answer them. And certainly now, when I come back up there, you can all state what's on your mind, okay? You did a real good job.
I did very little.
The less I do, the better.
Oh, we could.
Okay, I'll open it up for comments now since I gave that little bit of history. Does anybody else, or are you just ready to vote? That's fine.
I would like to say with the demolition of the Belleville Medical Building and the St. Elizabeth's Hospital, it's very visible downtown right now of where that parking lot is and St. Peter's Cathedral. And I think
Oh, it's
it would-
definitely opened it up. That's definitely, and
Yeah,
we're still working. And I will tell you, Monsignor Myler and I have had many conversations trying to get HSHS to work with us on some vision for the future there, but so
I'm
far
just
nothing.
saying, I think it would be beneficial to make that look nice.
No,
If
I
that-
do
if
too. I think
it
it's part
needs
of
to
the
be
aesthetics
sealed, and it
downtown. I
does.
don't disagree. Who is next? Anybody? Alderman Elmore?
Thank you. The development agreements you brought up, I voted on some of those, and I do think those are correctly termed development agreements. And I know this has got a document attached to it in a development agreement, and I thank Eric for putting his time and effort to putting it together. It still reads to me and sounds like to me it is a maintenance issue, but that's tomato, I guess. You can call it whatever you want. It sounds to me like it's a maintenance agreement, and we're not developing something that's gonna change the facade of anything. It's not so much a correction, but since I know some of those facts about the old Schiffer-Decker building at Union, I can tell you that Union United Methodist Church paid the building fees of $16,000.
I don't,
The building was burned down. The
Yeah.
building burned down.
I thought we
less than-
waived those fees after the fire.
Let me finish, sorry. When the building was originally built, the Schiffer-Decker store was tore down. The church paid $16,000 in building fees to the city. Less than, I'm guessing now, 13, 14 months, it burned to the ground. The city waived
Yeah.
the building fees a
Second time, the second time. But we've,
Second time, the first time, the church.
yeah, but we've not waived building fees, construction fees for any church anywhere. We've not done that.
Just to give a clarification, opinion from Garrett, but the law that he quoted, and I would never challenge Garrett or debate him in any law issue.
Probably smart.
That law issue that he brought up about the school buses pertains to when a school has the ability in their normal operating procedures to service a student in the same school district under normal operating procedures. If a student, for example, lived on the back side, the east side of Orchards, for example, and decided to go to Altough, the school district would not be responsible to drive that student to Altough. Normal operating procedures of the school bus system is what it covers in those laws. And for whatever reason, Garrett didn't go on and explain that part of it, but it is a good example because if you're in the normal operating procedures of a school bus situation, that school is required to provide transportation in their normal bus route. That's my understanding. Alderman Kinsella or anybody else knowledgeable of this subject can certainly correct me, but that's my understanding.
Okay.
So, maintenance-wise, and the Pandora's box comment I've heard too, yeah, I feel it will. Several people have already asked me, so how do you fill out an application to get your parking lot resealed? Well, it's not that easy, is what I tell them, but this is not a $9,000 agreement. This could be $90,000. I have no idea how far this could go once we open up resealing somebody's parking lot because they do something nice for Belleville, like Cathedral does, and they do. I'm not disputing that at all. Nobody would ever dispute all the wonderful things they do. So does Signalville, so you can go right down West Main, right down to Union. Belleville West hosts the daddy-daughter dance where they practically give us the entire campus for 24 to 36 hours. And we take over their campus. You know, we can go on and on about all the great things that people do, and kudos to you and the administration for building that development, that relationship. It's not a development, it's a relationship that we enjoy in Belleville that I think we take for granted sometimes, the great relationship that our city has with our churches and schools. Not every city can say that. Not every small little town has great relationships with their schools and their churches. We do, and it's because of our long-standing traditions here. And you get a lot of that credit, Mayor. I'm just saying that it does not include maintenance. It includes normal operating procedures, so to speak. I don't mean to correct anybody. I'm just saying just a little bit more enlightenment on some of those things.
You're entitled to your opinion.
We all know that, you know, the Tour de Belleville comes through and takes over that parking lot and church building for, again, several hours. You know, all these places do great things, feed the poor for the community. So I'll stop.
Okay. Alderman Diddleman, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I think all the aldermen here that I've talked to and stuff, it seems like it's down in our gut, and it's really troublesome.
I understand.
To think about what's going on here, and I know everybody had to go to their heart and look in the mirror and say, now what are we going to do? My questions are, if we did our due diligence and went around the neighborhoods to actually hear what the people were saying, or see if there was any way we could help them out other than coming from our own pockets or from TIF money. I mentioned to you the demolition people. Did we have an opportunity?
I did, and that didn't fly. I did do exactly what I talked about, and I made 2 phone calls, and that I think there's just other frustrations dealing with HSHS right now that those folks are not ready to step up to the plate to do anything on their own. I talked to 2 different groups there. So I did do that. I was going to report that back to you. I respect all of your opinions. All I felt I needed to do is I felt I needed to give you the history of what has happened. And, you know, between being alderman and mayor, I've been here for like 22 years now. I just know that, you know, when we worked on a couple of these things, Mayor Kern was still mayor. Well, there were some people who questioned that we shouldn't have been involved with Memorial Hospital, but we looked at the neighborhood on Memorial Drive, and it's not so much that they maybe couldn't afford it totally, but it was to show the partnership that if you remember some of those apartments and how bad they were, and I think Chief Clay can nod his head back there, we did as a partnership in unity, and I don't even remember exactly what the total amount, I didn't go back and reread, but we did. We passed it. I voted for it because I felt the partnership was important. And it wasn't about, you know, splitting hairs. You can always, as far as Pandora's box, it can always be opened. We're gonna have to, as long as you all are aldermen, there's gonna be judgmental decisions. That's part of what you agreed to. All I can feed you tonight is the facts, what we've done in the past, and I can tell you, to my knowledge, Cathedral has never asked for anything, but they have gone above and beyond in delivering services to the city and our citizens for different things. And I didn't even touch on the fact, because all churches do things for the poor, or they may take the lead in many ways, but I'm not even going there. I'm just talking about the service on the parking lot as far as the use of it, and really all they're asking for is some money for the sealant. I agree with you, Ed. I couldn't be at the first meeting. I missed it. And it kind of snuck up on me, this whole topic. But nevertheless, I just want to make sure you knew we're not doing anything, according to the city attorney, who I trust, illegal. We've had far bigger TIF agreements, and it is in TIF 8, which is totally separate. And Jamie, am I correct to say, TIF 8 has some extra money there that can be used for something that is an improvement in that area?
And as it was said in the public participation, this in no means is general fund dollars, not even close.
No, not even close. And we didn't give general fund dollars. Somebody else said about something about general fund. All these things were out of TIF, to my knowledge, over the years, if we go back and do our homework. They were all supplied or backed up with TIF money. So, like I said, you guys have to cast your vote. I respect it. But I'm just telling you, and to Cathedral, I talked to Monsignor Myler today. He called me and told me he couldn't personally be here tonight. And I talked to him and I told him I didn't know what was going to happen, but you know, we're going to continue to try to be a good partner. We appreciate what Cathedral has done for us. I told him on your behalf, on my behalf, and we would just have to see how this panned out tonight. So anybody else dying to make a statement here? If not, we call for the vote, and like I said, I think we've covered it pretty thoroughly. You just have to vote what you believe, you know, but I think there's always going to be tough votes. I just will tell you, if it gets to 8-8, don't question what, I'm not going to hesitate here. I know what I'm going to do. I'm just made that statement from out there. Okay, at this time, I'm going to call for roll call. We have a motion and a second, right?
Yes, we do.
I'm going to ask you to call for roll call.
All right, Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Duco.
Aye.
Randall.
No.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Ovian.
No.
Dintelman.
No.
Schaefer.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler.
No.
Elmore.
No.
Wygant.
No.
Wigington.
No.
Barfield.
No.
All right. I got 8.
8-8?
That's what I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing? Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
8-8. The mayor votes aye. Motion carries. Because we have a full council tonight,
Yeah.
and it is 8-8, and I will vote aye, because I feel that we have a precedent in many ways set, and I feel comfortable in continuing the partnership. So, good discussion, very good discussion, good feelings, and I respect all of it. And now we move on, if I can find my agenda, back to the next item. We go to 11D. At this time, I'd ask for a motion, this comes from the Police and Fire Commissioners, ask for a motion to approve the hiring of probationary police officers April Gebke and Logan Decker, effective August 20th, 2019 at 12:01 a.m. Motion by Alderman Anthony, second by Alderman Duco. Any questions on these two hirings? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Duco. Randall.
Aye.
Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian. Dintelman.
Aye.
Schaefer.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Wygant.
Aye.
Wigington.
Aye.
Barfield.
Aye.
Motion carried. Streets and Grades, Alderman Wigington.
On behalf of Streets and Grades Committee, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement with Farnsworth Group in the amount of $44,100 for professional services in the connection with Robb Avenue reconstruction. So moved.
A motion by Alderman motion by Alderman Wigington. Do I hear a second? Alderman Diddleman, that's your ward, to approve this. Any discussion on this item? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Duco. Randall. Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian. Dillon.
Aye.
Schaefer.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Weigant. Wiggington.
Aye.
Barfield.
Aye.
Motion carries. Alderman Wiggington.
On behalf of Streets and Grades Committee, I'd like to make a motion to approve Chris Brothers Asphalt in the amount of $217,993.60 for the 2020 TIF asphalt patch. TIF funds, so moved.
Motion by Alderman Wiggington. Do I hear a second? All right, jump. Pusa. Do I hear discussion on this motion from Streets and Grades? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Duco. Randall. Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian. Dillman.
Aye.
Schaefer.
Aye.
Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Weigant. Wiggington.
Aye.
Barfield.
Aye.
Motion
And,
carries.
on behalf of Streets and Grades Committee, I'd like to make a motion to approve a contract amendment in the amount of $2,322 to Hanson Professional Services regarding the Archer's floodplain mitigation contract. So moved.
Motion by Alderman Wiggington, second by Alderman Rothweiler. Do I hear discussion on this? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa.
Aye.
Duco. Randall. Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian. Dillman. Schaefer. Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Weigant. Wiggington.
Aye.
Barfield.
Aye.
Motion carries. I'm going to pause here just for a second. I was going to do it earlier, and I guess there's other places in the agenda I could do it. Most of you have heard by now, but after I just got done seeing that Archer's floodplain, I feel like I have to, and we'll have meetings and we'll make a thank you, but as we get closer to his last meeting. But if you haven't heard, Tim Gregowitz is going to be departing us on September 13th, taking a position over in Town and Country, the city of Town and Country in Missouri. And we will properly recognize him at an upcoming meeting. But I had to stop after I saw the Archer's floodplain, because since the day I hired Tim in March of 2006, the first place I took him that morning was to the Archers dealing with the flooding. So it's only appropriate that one of the last actions that before he leaves is we're dealing with the Archers flooding. So we'll thank you again appropriately, Tim, but we do thank you for all your years of service. We go to communications. You ready to read them? Sure. You okay now? Because usually my clerk reads them. I just want to know if you're capable or able, willing. Willing is the word.
Willing.
Does anybody want them separated out, or do you want to read them by? Read them as a group, so.
Okay. Children's
Give me the
Dyslexia
same capable.
Walkathon, October 5th, 2019. Request from Children's Dyslexia Center, Southern Illinois, to hold their walkathon Saturday, October 5th, 2019, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Additional requests of trash cans and picnic tables, no street closures. The Fest, October 19, 2019. Request from Kenny Herzog to hold the Fest Car Show on Saturday, October 19, 2019, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. No street closures. Request use of city-owned property at 900 Shield Street. Additional requests of trash toters. Belleville Humane Society Block Party, October 20, 2019. Request from Belleville Area Humane Society to hold a block party Sunday, October 20, 2019, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. with a rain date of Sunday, October 27, 2019. Street closure request, first block of East Main from east side 159 to west side of High Street. Additional services requested, no parking signs, sewing machine drop-off only, signs, picnic tables, barricades, electric sandbags, police personnel, and trash toters. BMS approved at meeting on August 13, 2019. Belleville Area Humane Society Pet Parade, October 20, 2019. Request from Belleville Area Humane Society to hold their pet parade Sunday, October 20, 2019, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. with the rain date of Sunday, October 27, 2019. Street closure request 12:50 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. along parade route of East Lincoln Street to South Charles Street to East Main Street to South High Street. Additional services requested, barricades, no parking signage, sewing machine drop-off only, signs, and police personnel. BMS approved at a meeting on August 13, 2019. Cairo Med 8th Annual Winter Luau and Main Street Mile, January 20, 2020. Request from Cairo Med to hold their Winter Luau and Main Street Mile Saturday, January 20, 2020. Street closure request, 5K, 8:45 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. with rolling street closure. One-lane closure on West Main Street from Lindenwood University to 3200 West Main Street, 8:45 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. for Main Street Mile. Additional services requested, barricades, race in progress sign, Public Works and Police Department personnel.
Okay, I'm asking for a motion to approve communications from 12A, 12B, 12C, 12D, and 12E. Do I hear a motion? Consilla, second. Pusa, any discussion on those communications that our Assistant City Attorney so finally read? Any questions? All in favor of these communications to be approved signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We go to petitions, we have none. Resolutions, we have none. Ordinances, I'd ask for a motion to read by title only, Ordinance 8363. Do I hear a motion? Motion by Schaefer, second by Anthony, to read Ordinance 8363 by title only. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I can read it. An ordinance amending Chapter 75 traffic schedules of the revised ordinances of the City of Belleville, Illinois, as amended by amending portions of the sections thereof. Do I hear a motion to approve Ordinance 8363? Steele, second by Schaefer. Any further discussion on this ordinance? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa. Duco. Randall. Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian. Dintelman. Schaefer. Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Wygant. Wiggington.
Aye.
Barfield.
Motion carries. Any unfinished business? I just want to say, Alderman Randall, I meant to get back with you. You sent me that email. They had gone over, I talked to the chief and Anissa, as soon as, and Scott, as soon as we get the remainder of the Omnigo stuff that we're missing yet for that presentation, you were there that night, but we are going to make sure we either try to encourage everybody, if there's more information, to come to either a health and housing meeting, or else we'll do it here. They just weren't ready yet. So I had nothing new tonight to present.
Your Honor, if it's possible, I would prefer, and I think other members of the City Council would prefer, to have that presentation done here at the City Council so everybody can see it.
We did. We invited everybody, and I think we had, what did we say, Anissa, 9 aldermen there?
I believe it was 7.
Oh, is there 7? Okay, I was wrong. But we can do it again, but we're going to wait till we get the last part of the computer stuff, and then we'll have a complete presentation. But we can do it again. It just will be, as soon as we get that together, then we'll put it on the agenda. Okay? Miscellaneous and new business, or any? Unfinished.
I want to know I know we're going to have a meeting Wednesday at 2 p.m. At the West End regarding the condemned properties.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, what are we going to do with the issue dealing with dumping over there at 9823? And I've asked you to go ahead and
That lot.
no, that lot.
And I told you when we come out, this is what we got scheduled, and I think we got Ice Can and Jason and Tim. I don't know if there's anybody else, but we're all coming out, me too. And I told you we would go look at that, because I can't visualize that lot, but I will go out there with you and we'll take a look. And if it's something that we can, and I don't know if the county or anybody else is going to partner with us where their boundaries are, but we'll have to see. That original quote we had, Tim, how much was it? How much was it?
$5,875.
Okay, we'll have to,
What I'm concerned about, Mr. Mayor, is I've got people that live over there that smell that.
okay.
And they are gonna go to the EPA, and I don't wanna go ahead and basically have
Well,
to lie to them.
we're going out there in a few days, and but it is a pretty big drop-off, right, Jason? And they felt like we had to, and quite honestly, as you know, that area is not in a TIF. So we would have to use, now we'd have to use general fund money, and that's where the revenue for the liquor license comes. The money, when you made that statement, I'm not trying to correct anybody, but just to keep it clear, the money tonight for the school, or downtown, the parking lot, was TIF 8. Can't use funds there, but yours is general fund.
All right, second one is 8525, that affects me, but it
The
affects
derelict house?
Jerry.
The derelict house?
It's the Susie house.
We're going to look at it because, and I'm taking, even Jeff Hydarn's coming. If it meets the standards, since we had 2 houses come off the list, we're gonna put it on the bid, and we're gonna go out for bid by next Monday and try to get a dozen houses on the list.
This is not a derelict home, it's just that the trees have grown on top of the property.
Is it vacant?
On top of on top of the Ameren wires that basically lead into the transformers.
I told you, promised you I'd come out there when we talked last week.
Those limbs fall, it's gonna be, everybody in the surrounding area is gonna be.
Well, and unfortunately, I hear you. We're gonna try to see if we can remedy it. But I will tell you, unfortunately, we have a lot of trees that if they fall in a storm like tonight, hypothetically, there's unfortunately a lot of people gonna be out of power. We have a lot of situations similar. I'm very appreciative of your passion. We will get out there as a team and look at it, and we'll try to make a decision and see what we can and can't afford to do. So we'll have some answers for you in a few days from now when we get together. Anything else under miscellaneous and new business? Yes, sir.
Yes, Mayor. Before we put another house, derelict house on the list, I think we should take care of the ones we got right now, which one on Park Avenue, it's been on the list for...
Okay, the one on Park Avenue, if I can tell you, there's still some people trying to possibly save it. And I'm just telling you, now, that's a $20,000 plus demo. And they're asking to go in it again, a couple carpenters and a couple people. And if they would agree to save it, I think we would all agree if we can give them a year and we can not have to spend $20,000 and we can keep it on the tax rolls, we're better off. Now, that just came up to Jeff Hydarn and I probably in the last 10 days. So I really haven't, with everything going on, and in the last 2 weeks, I've been not out of the office a lot, but a little bit for a new grandbaby, and it seems like every day I've missed a couple hours, I can't catch up. But we are looking at 500 Park Avenue.
But it's the second or third person that says they're gonna fix the house up.
Well, no, originally, I'll be honest with you. Originally, Jeff Hydarn didn't think it could be fixed. Somebody else consulted with him, and after Jeff sat and talked to him, he said, you know, let's take another look at it. This guy said he talked to Jeff about some more of the strengths of the house than the weaknesses. So Jeff looked at me and said, maybe we should go back and give it another look. But when we're talking about keeping houses on the tax rolls and saving as up to $20,000+ for demolition for the city, and then we got to cut the lot forever. Because chances are the neighbors aren't necessarily going to adopt that lot and pay the tax on it so they can cut the grass. So, you know, I think we got a bigger ongoing problem. So I think it's been well worth trying to investigate this, and unfortunately, good things don't always go quick.
But we can't even see the house no more.
Well, and, okay, we had a similar situation. You guys approved a meeting or two ago, 710, 712 East D. Remember that? Okay? It's still our house. We're going to turn it over to this partner that's taking it, I think, we talked about probably towards the end of the month. I ordered, and they did it together. Our guys went over, he came over, the new potential owner, and we yanked all that stuff out and threw it away. We're gonna do the same at 500 Park is gonna get probably that shed tore down and all the growth taken out. Unfortunately, the street department's gonna hate me, but we're gonna tackle that soon, regardless, because we won't get the house down, even if it gets into going to demolition, it'll probably still be 2 months, at least, by the time we advertise it, take it to committee, take it back here, etc. So we're going to try to clean it up. Jason knows we had to get through Oil and Ship, we had to get through some of the festivals, although they're getting ready to start again. So we're going to try to find a couple days where the crew can get out there and go through that jungle. I agree with you, the neighbors deserve it. I'm with you. I'm not disagreeing. It's just, we've got countless situations like that. But there is the possibility of saving that house, which if we can save it and keep it on the tax rolls, I'm all for it. And the guys going through, Belleville CDC is going back through it a second time at 522 East D, and I guess that's Ward 2. Yeah. And they're taking another look at that. They think they can save that house now. That's a nice house across from the Nichols Center. If we can save it, once again, it stays on the tax rolls, and that's another one that would probably be $17,000, $18,000 to take down easily. So we're working on a couple different things. 710, 712's underway. We just, if you look down there, in fact, I got 2 calls from neighbors last week saying thank you for cleaning out all the growth. Hopefully we'll get some calls from Park Avenue soon. Any other questions, since this is Quiz the Mayor? Anything else? Yes, sir. You're only allowed one. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
This one here is one that we can save. It's at 132 North 82nd Street, and Mike Tissier wants to buy the property. It's got mold problems. He's willing to buy it, put the money into it, to resurrect it, so it can be a viable part of the community. But the process is moving so slow to go ahead and for both the owner of the property at present that lives in Hawaii and for him to go ahead and get the property approved for the sale of it, the transfer. If we let this go very much longer, because of the mold problems that are already there, it's just gonna get to the point where eventually it's gonna have to be condemned.
Well,
So is there any way that we can go ahead and help you?
well, here's the deal. You got lucky tonight. The assistant city attorney who deals with all these these derelict homes is here. So why not, after the meeting, you talk a little further about that, and we'll see if we can't expedite that, because he's the guy that's gonna have to, huh? He picked a good night to come. So Garrett owes you. Garrett owes you. Okay, anything else? Because I'm trying to get to the motor fuel claim, because we still gotta go in executive session. Is someone willing to make a motion to approve the motor fuel claims for $190,118.55? Willing to pay, and second by Hazel. Motion was by Consilla. Any questions or comments on the motor fuel claim? Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa. Duco. Randall. Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian. Dillman. Schaefer. Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Wygant. Wiggington. Barfield.
Motion carries. I'd ask for a motion to go.
Go into executive session.
Okay, for the purpose of discussing, I'm not sure exactly what we're all getting to, but personnel, litigation, workman's compensation, which I know is here, property acquisition or transfer of property. A motion by Alderman Hazel. Who's the second to go in executive session? Second by Consilla. Any discussion on that? All in favor of going in executive session for those reasons signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go in executive session. We possibly could have one motion when we come out. Can you tell me, Mr. Thompson, what department item in regular session? I would ask if someone's willing to make a motion to approve our attorney who came in here and who represents us with workman's comp, to settle a claim with one of our city employees for up to $7,000, to give him the authorization. The claim has not been signed yet, so we're not going to go into particulars, but to give that authorization vote so that he can go and possibly get this claim settled. Do I hear a motion? Motion by Wygant, second by Diddleman. Discussion on this claim that we just talked about in executive session. Roll call.
Kinsella.
Aye.
Hazel.
Aye.
Pusa. Duco. Randall. Ferguson. Anthony. Ovian. Dillman. Schaefer. Steele.
Aye.
Rothweiler. Elmore. Wygant. Wiggington. Barfield.
Motion carries. I hear a motion to adjourn. Schaefer and Duco. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? They can stay. Okay.